shot of them at the start. We're looking down the course towards the start, and we can see the start list there. Australia and Ukraine will contest this race, Tim.
Yeah, it's a two-boat race here. Of course, these athletes have already rowed here on the lake earlier on Wednesday. We had a preliminary race in this boat class, but a first to have the under-23 PR3 single sculls here.
Yeah, it's great to get the para-athletes into the under-23 World Championships. This is a new move, and I guess in future years we will see more contestants, but there are two of these rowers, as we can see there. On the far side, Izzy Egan, the 17-year-old Australian. She just took a look round the course, down the course, and her opponent, Daria Kotik from the Ukraine, she's now taking a look down the course. I guess we should say we might get a little close look at them there, but the PR3 class, if you're new to rowing, welcome to this presentation. It's lovely to have you with us, particularly if you're watching from Australia in Canberra. I know where Izzy goes to school, but the PR3 class is for rowers with a verifiable and permanent disability and who are able to make functional use of their legs, trunk and arms to propel the boat. So Izzy Egan there from Australia.
Yeah, very young athlete. She's only 17 years of age, and right beside her is Daria from Ukraine. And both these athletes now are trying to get their boat straight and level and pointing towards the finish. There's a few moments left, and Martin, two athletes, two boats contesting this A final. What's going through the minds of these young athletes here?
That's a great shout. I think having raced once already this week, so the fastest sculler was Kotik from the Ukraine, and being a Paralympic, being an athlete with Paralympic experience, no wonder. But Izzy Egan, the young Australian, she's raced, she's competitive with Kotik, and I think having had that first race will give us so much confidence to be able to compete in the middle of the course with Kotik, which is what she needs to do.
Yeah, and she'll be going through her race plan again and again in the mind, and focusing on that very first stroke of the race, where she sets up her race rhythm for the 2,000 meters to come as they come under starters orders.
Starters holding them for a long time. That red light will turn to green, and you will also hear a buzzer.
Green light, and we're off. The first A final of the Under-23 World Championships, and a great start from both athletes, both Egan and Kotik, cleanly out of the start, and a high rate of striking from the Australian here.
Yeah, she was racing, and it's the Australian who leads just early doors. Izzy Egan, the 17-year-old from Radford College in Canberra. She was racing at the Australian Championships for the Sculls Championship team earlier this season, and her goal apparently is to get into the 2026 Schoolgirl Quad medal podium and perhaps to win it. So she's still got another year to go.
Yeah, that's a great goal to have, and this race will give us so much experience. She was quick out of the blocks, just pushing her bow ball slightly ahead of Kotik from the Ukraine, but I think another push from the Ukrainian athlete, slightly lower in the in rates, 35 strokes a minute, and she's retaken the initiative.
Actually, from that shot we just saw, you could see the power in Kotik's upper body. The Ukrainian athlete now on the left of your screen, you can see her bows edging in front of Egan, the Australian. And it's the power in her upper body. She's utilising that through the middle of the stroke. We can see it there, Tim. She's really pushing that back end of the stroke powerfully.
Yeah, and she gives that boat a lovely surge every single stroke, and she's opened up to almost, well, 3/4 of a length now ahead of Egan from Australia, who is well in her race rhythm. I think both these athletes more or less settling into that mid-race pace at the moment as we approach 500 meters gone.
Yeah, here we get our 4 checkpoints. You know, there are 4 500-meter quarters of this race, and the Ukrainian sculler has gone through in 1:56. That's almost exactly the same time, maybe about 0.3 or 4 seconds quicker than she went through when she won the first heat. Izzy Egan went through in 1:57. So perhaps these scullers are performing as expected, Tim, so far in this race.
Yeah, indeed, I would agree with you, Martin. But yeah, this is a crucial moment, I think, for Isabel Egan, because now she has to make a move. She needs to keep her bow ball close to the stern of the sculler from Ukraine to well keep the pressure on. But because as soon as it is a clear water margin, the racing sort of shifts a bit, and then it's so much more difficult to get back into the race.
Yeah, I'd say that's fantastic at the moment for the Australian schoolgirl, because she's in contact with a woman who came 4th in the Paralympic Games in Paris last year, racing with Stanislav Samoyluk. They missed out on a bronze medal, perhaps about, I guess about 10 seconds or so down on the Germans who took that para-bronze medal. But this is the quality of this woman here, and this is the type of competition that Izzy Egan will be looking for. And the Australians this year came up with their PR3 mixed double, which is the Olympic class boat. And Lisa Grissel and Sam Stunnell, who himself is just 18, finished second at Lucerne behind the bronze medal Germans from Paris. So I guess that's going to be a target for Izzy Egan, to fight her way into this boat, maybe to try and get in ahead of Lisa Grissel from the New South Wales.
Yeah, she might try and get herself selected. She had a quick look around just before the 1,000-meter mark, just checking where she is relative to Kotik from the Ukraine. And in terms of the lead, it's the Ukrainian really hasn't been able to shake off the Australian in the second 500.
No, I'd say Egan is doing a great job there. This is a quicker race than the initial heat. Kotik went through in 3:58 in that initial heat, and at the moment this is, well, no, it's very comparable, isn't it? 3:59 Kotik went through, so it's matching the first heat. This third quarter is going to be crucial for the Australian. This is where she lost ground to Kotik in that initial race they had, and she will know that, and her coach Christine McLaren will have said, you've really got to dig in that third quarter, Izzy.
Yeah, and she's doing so very well here in this third quarter. You can see, Martin, by the speed these athletes are doing, because they were in the high 13 kilometers an hour, verging on the 14 kilometers an hour in the first half of this race, and now you can see the effect of those tailwind conditions pushing into that second half. You can see the slight increase in the boat speed, while the rate keeps at the same level. It's still around about that 33 strokes a minute mark.
It's very exciting, isn't it? Because Egan is still just there. Kotik's been throwing everything at the Australian schoolgirl, and so far the Australian is still there. And it's interesting, you know, she takes her inspiration from that great Australian Olympic medalist Jess Fox, who won those 2 golds in the canoe and kayak slalom in Paris this year. I was privileged enough to be able to commentate on those races, and Izzy took a lot of inspiration from watching Jess Fox deliver yet more Olympic gold medals. That's what she's after, Paralympic gold medals, and she is doing the job at the moment.
Yeah, she's doing very well, though we can see now approaching the penultimate timing mark at 1,500, so it's 500 meters still left to row for these two athletes, that the gap is opening up a bit. It was 2 seconds at 1,000, and now you can see that Kotik from Ukraine is increasing that lead to almost 3.5 seconds. Yeah, now is her time to dig deep, and hats off to Egan from Australia, keeping so close. But I think now we can see the difference in style and ability from the Ukrainian athlete.
Yeah, Kotik's got that lean back going again. You can see how powerful she is at the back end. A long lean back, reminiscent of Canadian crews, I think. Remember watching them in the Beijing Olympics in 2008. and they had that long lean back at the finish. Quite controversial as a technique, but she's really using it to good effect to drive that finish, the end of the stroke.
Yeah, she's really effective. You can see when she throws her back, when she opens up her back, that boat really surges along, and she's the quickest boat on the water now, and she'll be rowing into the red buoy area, so it's just 250 meters to go as she opens up to a full-length lead.
So impressive from the Paralympian. You can see she's tiring. You can see how much effort it cost Daria Kotic in that part of the race. The 21-year-old is beating the 17-year-old. They're into the last 250 meters. You can see the red buoys that delineate that. We can see them in front of our commentary position. Egan has kept to her task the whole way down. She's stuck at it.
Yeah, she's keeping Kotic very honest all the way across the 2,000-meter course.
I'd say even Egan is moving back. I don't think she's going to get back on Kotic, but Kotic is tiring visibly, and Egan is driving through the line. She has an overlap. There is just not enough water, or is there? Kotic is tiring. She's going. What can Egan do? Every single stroke Egan is gaining, but the water ran out, and it was such a close race at the finish, Tim.
Yeah, it was so close. You could see Kotic tiring up and in the final few strokes. And Isabel Egan got so close, just 1.2 seconds separating them. And if my information is correct, Martin, we have a World Championships best time of 8:10.11. So really rapid time and an amazing performance by both these athletes. But Izzy Egan from Australia, she got so close in that final 50 meters or so.
Well, I must apologise for not quite calling it across the line. As you will have seen, we don't have a bubble line here, and so we are making judgments as to where the actual line are. The finish tower officials do have that line, which they can see, thankfully, and we can't quite see that. So it was close, it was exciting, and there are going to be more races like that to come. So if you've just joined us on World Rowing, I'm Martin Cross, with me Tim Van Vliet, taking you through the 10A finals of this afternoon's programme at the Under-23 World Championships on the Malta Lake in Poznan, Poland.